Last Guardian is the third game by Fumito Ueda, and just like the previous two games, the scene takes place in a big, uninhabited by humans and secluded from the world area, and one of the main characters has or grows horns. It is an emotional roller coaster that, despite all of its bugs, manages to deliver what it promises. I will list all the major facts, and I will use them to build a theory which would explain how the nest came to be the way it is portrayed in the game. Judging by the sketches at the beginning of the game and Trico's look, we can easily assume that this is a hybrid creature designed and created for some specific purpose, most likely to guard something or an all-around assault creature. I mean, for Christ's sake, it has lightning strike abilities. The barrels make the Tricos stronger and help them regenerate and heal themselves. This can be proved as you progress the game. The lightning that comes out of the tail gets an OP boost and it becomes a plasma shot. And if you have played the game, I'm sure you have been watching the horns of Trico pretty closely as you progressed. There is no arguing that the horns gradually regrow, and even by the end of the game, Trico's wings are fully healed. What's more is that the story is told in such a way that the player cannot be sure that he originally had the ability to fly. Like Trico, the ghostly guards have horns on their helmets. Some have one or two, but they're all used to control the guards and creatures. More on that will be revealed later in the clip. Have you wondered why the boy is covered in tattoos? Well, we see that the tattoos on the boy appear after he's spat out. Before he was abducted, he had no marks on him whatsoever. Due to in-game circumstances, the boy is devoured and then spat back out by Trico, and after each consecutive cycle, the markings multiply. At first, it is subtle, but by the end, a very big part of the boy's head is covered up by tattoos. We can say for sure that the tattoos are formed when the boy is inside Trico, as some form of marking. And this plays out perfectly as a countermeasure if the chosen ones try to escape, for when the guards chant, all the tats light up and the boy gets paralyzed. The eye signs that we have to destroy in order to move forward and also used by the guards are meant to prevent the Tricos from going wherever they want. Tricos were originally programmed to stay clear of those signs. Those signs are usually placed in some pretty unstable places which can hardly support the creature's weight. The marble tower was made to be really durable, and unlike the rest of the buildings which are already collapsing, it doesn't show any signs of decay. So whomever made it was making sure that whatever was inside would be well protected. The mirror was designed to control the Tricos. However, at some point, the Master of the Valley found a way to override the mirror's commands so that it can control them. Proof of that is at the clash scene of the Tricos. There could have been other mirrors which the Master disposed of, but the kid was lucky enough to find one in a burial chamber, which seems to be made from the exact material the White Tower is made out of. Here is where theory begins. I will start with something that appears almost at the end of the game in order to present my points better. The Blue Sphere, aka Master, is a collective consciousness creature or creation that managed to bind all Tricos. It was either alien, judging by the really strange tower it was situated in, or was man-made in order to automatize the entire nest. I am more inclined to believe the second one, as there are a lot of architectural elements that suggest human-sized occupants. Let's look at the elevator in the marble tower. Its cabin is human-sized, which means it was meant to transport the creator in order to reach and to maintain the master. The room layout also suggests that whomever was maintaining it would need the help of a Trico in order to reach the top. That leaves us with the conclusion that Tricos were not solely made as guardians and were also used to help around in the city, with logistics and building. The fact that we can see a lot of statues of Tricos also strengthens that belief. Its general purpose was not to fetch chosen ones, but I think that in time it evolved out of its characteristics. There are many broken barrels beneath the Master of the Valley, and this is probably because that is the Tricos holding them. And perhaps this allowed the Mastermind to twist their consciousness more easily, unbeknownst to the caretaker. Originally, my thoughts on why there are no living beings in that place started with 3 versions. All the inhabitants died away and only the Mastermind was left hoping to survive. The previous inhabitants have transcended their consciousness inside the Mastermind so that they could continue to live on forever, and the Master has found a way to dispose of all living beings there. So the Master has found a way to control all of the Turicos, and then created the ghostly guards to use as its tools inside the nest and capture any escaped kids as a failsafe. We can see that they transport the fallen Turico and consequently chain it, and we already covered what the guards chanting does. The armors are created of the same dark matter that surrounds the Master. For proof, just see what happens when you point the mirror at them. It's a neat trick, eh? What we see is light beating darkness. The possibility of more than one mirror seems a bit too far-fetched, as there are not so many places it can be used as a key. It is most probably a single artifact created of light magic, and judging by the bluish color of its beam, it could also be made from the same material as Turico's horns. Those sometimes appear green and sometimes blue. If we are going for a classical human-created AI goes on an inferior creature's cleaning spree story type here, I can say that the mirror's bearer, the first chosen one, created the Master, but because he probably realized how dangerous that is, later decided to seal the Master inside the marble tower, hence only the mirror can open the door. The mirror's bearer also created the Turicos through a sort of alchemy, and he made them to be controlled by the mirror. They were created in order to stop anyone from outside to try and free the Master. As the creator passed away, he was buried along with the mirror so that no one would open the door to the Master and free it. However, the Master of the Valley found a way to turn the Turicos to his side and started controlling them. Then they were ordered to destroy the remaining inhabitants and hunt down all chosen ones, so that nobody would be able to get in its way ever again. A long time passes from that moment until our friend Turico finds the kid, and you know what happens next. By now, you have probably realized how the horns, the giant cells with the antenna in the middle, the composition of the Master and the mirror have something in common. They are all created or consist of the same sort of material that allows telepathic communication and most probably to bend the will of the ones with this material implanted in them. The difference is in the color. The ones the Master takes command of light up in blue, whereas the mirror has a distinct green glow. Later in the game, it is revealed how Turico ends up being chained. It is after he broke his mask, his horns, and his wings got damaged. He was temporarily locked in a secluded area in order for his wings and horns to regrow, and especially his horns, as through them he receives telepathic commands from the Master of the Valley. Another proof of this connection is during the confrontation with the other Turico currently staying in the nest. After his horns were damaged, he immediately snapped out and was freed from the Master's commands. At the end, I want to share with you a revelation that left me with a strong positive feeling. It happened right here at the last giant cell we encounter. You can see that the antenna is broadcasting the Master's command to devour the little boy, but Turico successfully resists. Usually, as soon as they stepped in those rooms, Turico would gulp him down like a turkey on a Thanksgiving dinner. This, my friends, is the evidence of the strong connection which flourished between the two main characters. They're now inseparable. By the way, my girlfriend does the same thing. Oh, and I have prepared a couple of bonus questions for you to stir up your imagination. Could it be that the eye symbols are used as security cameras as well? For example, just when we were about to reach the marble tower, at least 100 guards showed up to capture the boy and repel Turico at the same time. That could also explain why Turico is naturally afraid of those signs. They are directly linked with his enslaver, aka Master of the Valley. After all, nobody wants to be a slave to anybody else. And question number 2, does the Master use the Chosen Ones as a food source? However gruesome it may sound, are the barrel's contents the byproduct of the victims? Let me know what you think about these down in the comments.